I'm such a huge believer of living in the moment. And we can't go back to what happened yesterday, what happened last year, what happened December 31st, 2009. I can't go back to that day.
So Kevin was, one of the world's best snowboarders, someone who had kind of an approach to snowboarding that no one else did.
He was young and at the top of his game and driving towards the Olympics.
He rode with such kind of finesse and style and made it look just so beautiful.
If Kevin wasn't the person he is, he never would have achieved what he achieved in snowboarding. That took incredible determination.
When I was in the air, it was just like being free. You could do whatever came to your mind, whatever you wanted to do when you were going up that wall, you could think of it and you could do it. I was able to get to that place where I could almost do just about anything.
He was at the top, he went for there was a year where he basically was either on the top of every podium he entered or at least on the podium. And it was really the beginning of when he started beating Sean for the first time and no one else had been doing that.
It's really cool to be able to look back and see what I did and what I was able to accomplish and those experiences that I have. And it's just amazing to be able to take a look back and step back for a second and be like, whoa.
When I got a call from a good friend of mine who was at the half pipe with Kevin, and he's like, man, Kevin had a bad fall. And I was like, well, what's the situation like? And he was like, it's bad. And I was just like, oh God.
I remember when I heard from my mom over New Year's Eve that Kevin was in an accident and that he had a traumatic brain injury.
A doctor called and asked for my permission to put external ventricular drains in his head, and I had no idea what the doctor was talking about.
When you walk into that room and see someone who you know so well look, so different, with tubes, 30 different tubes in their mouth, and it's a feeling that it's hard to explain. It's not one that I want to feel again, that's for sure. It was the first probably week and a half that the doctors wouldn't tell us if he was going to live or he wasn't. And then once he kind of started coming out of his coma, then there was signs that he'd make it. Yeah, it's just this feeling of kind of helplessness. You can't communicate with the person. You can't really do anything except just kind of hope and be there for them. And then this feeling of like, oh my God, is his life going to be gone, and is my relationship going to be gone with him?
When Kevin came out of his coma, he had to learn how to drink water again. That's kind of the severity of where he started from.
Do you know your nickname, Kev? You don't?
I think the decision making was very easy for us for a number of reasons. The absolute number one was we wanted him to be in the absolutely best possible place we could find on the face of the earth.
Craig was the right place for Kevin. We are a very close family, and I think just being in a place where you felt like you were almost at home, you really weren't, just made it so much easier to kind of work through those most challenging times.
We had an opportunity to really operate, our whole family to operate as a team.
We all went and visited because it was important to us that, you can hear is all the good things you want, but really going to a place and seeing it and feeling it and understanding the people who are working there, making sure those aligned with kind of what we were looking for.
We were more interested in the level, quality of the care and the people. And we were very impressed by the people, the way they treated us, the way they were working with the patients.
We all realized that there was a high level of sophisticated people who knew what they were doing around, head trauma and spinal cord injuries.
When Kevin came into Craig, he was in a very vulnerable state where he thought that he was going to go right back to the rise and the peak of snowboarding.
When he arrived, he was still a very, very injured human being.
He had a profound, what we call disorder of consciousness. In other words, he was just starting to emerge in his ability to be wakeful and purposeful. He was intermittently very agitated. He had very significant medical, neurological problems and rehabilitation needs.
We had to teach Kevin how to swallow piece by piece, and then we had to, Adam was there with him, and we had to teach him how to catch a ball and throw, and all of these motor skills that that he was able to have the time and the expertise at Craig to go through.
Having a high-functioning team is a very exciting process, and I think Simon and I wanted to work really well together for Kevin's benefit, and everybody in the family wanted to be part of that.
Yeah! You ain't got nothing! There was never these steps that, that were visible for me from the inside. From the outside, to my family, to my friends, everybody could walk in, a day later, a week later, a month later, and be like, oh my gosh, you're so much better, you've made so much progress. But for me, living in it, living in this brain, I wasn't able to see these steps in this progress.
Really helpful for me to film it, and then a couple of weeks later say, oh, look back and look what you just look at the progress you've made. And that was really effective method to show him how well he was doing, and keep the small wins very front and center, and say, look, you just made an incredible improvement, like let's move on to the next thing.
I would just like to toast how much better I have gotten, and how much everybody has helped me in here, and how amazing the progress has been. All right, that's it, baby. 3 months in Craig, and I'm out. Later.
I remember filming because I knew that there was going to be a story to be told, because I knew just what kind of person he was, and I knew he was going to make a comeback and make an impact in a different way.
That you're the reason I came to this conference, and just like what you were just saying about sharing your story.
So over the summer, I showed the crash reel right after it came out to one of my grad school classes. And
so I just wanted to say thanks for putting yourself out there like that. It really means a lot to the brain injury community here in Colorado.
I made a film called The Crash Reel, and it's been so cool to be able to spread this word and share this film, and share this life that I've lived at such a young age. I've been through a lot. I've been through a whole lot with an amazing group of people, and we were able to share this in this film.
I don't believe these scars are ever going to go away.
The realization that Kevin was so willing to talk about this injury, and so willing to share with the world of what it's like to have a traumatic brain injury, and what it's like to go from the top of a sport and being the best in the world at something, and then having to relearn how to walk and talk and figure out your life again. I have learned, and I have found through this process of me, being so injured, and being in such a bad place that that I never knew that there's so many people in this world that are so injured and that are struggling so severely.
It's hard for him right now. He's just had some surgery, but he's going to get a lot better.
Nice, man.
You come see him in a year.
You stay positive, all right? Keep working hard, and you'll get better. I never saw that before, and I was never aware of that. And through this injury and through this experience, I've become very aware of how much this world is struggling, and how many possibilities and how much opportunity there is for me to help.
Dave, I work with military
guys
no
with
way.
TBI.
No way.
I think you're a great inspiration. I've seen your movie a couple times. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Can I get a picture with you?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I feel like there's an incredible message to share here, and, you know, an incredible amount to show. And, you know, along with that, you know, what is possible after you do have something like this happen to you.
We've been traveling a lot with the film and doing a lot of Q&As, and Kevin's doing a lot of speaking engagements, and really being there to share this story and show people what's possible.
Important to wear a helmet. The most important.
We want to continue and create something bigger than, you know, just what Kevin's story was, but create something bigger that can help a much larger audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Pearce.
It puts a smile on my face to see him, you know, making people laugh and see a standing ovation when he's done giving a talk. It's one of the best, you know, it's just like seeing him on the top of a podium winning a snowboard contest.
Brain can't sustain too severe.
Craig was very supportive and helpful in this process, and Kevin wouldn't be here in the place he's in if he didn't put the time and effort he did into rehab, because it's such a critical element to the rehabilitation process.
I went from being somebody that couldn't do anything, you know, I couldn't even walk, to being somebody that was able to be a working, living, mobile human.
When you really learn and see the impact it has and what you can do to really help other people, it's an amazing opportunity, an amazing platform that I feel like we're lucky to have in a weird way.
You know, I am nowhere near done recovering from this brain injury, and that has been the biggest learning lesson for me, is that this is a life-changing injury, and I will always be healing, and I will always be recovering, and my brain will always be getting better. And that's what I think is so important to share and to be able to spread, is that you need to continue to love your brain forever.